Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. Today I want to share with you guys a stack of movies that I picked up on the 3D Blu-ray format. So I was huge into Blu-ray 3D back when it was new. I had my 3D TV and I loved it. I actually had a 3D TV and a projector that was able to do 3D as well, and it was a great time. So recently, for whatever reason, this year, the bug has bitten again, and I've gotten back into 3D. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that my daughter has really been enjoying 3D. We've actually seen 2 movies in 3D in theaters this year, which was a ton of fun. But today we're going to look at some older releases because, of course, nowadays you just don't get Blu-ray 3Ds anymore. So we're going to look at some older releases that I didn't have in the catalog until recently. So let's not waste any time at all. I have a stack of about a dozen here, so let's dive right into my latest 3D Blu-ray haul. Looking at the stack I pulled today, it's mostly sci-fi and fantasy, but I do have one horror film in here, which I will start with, and this is a movie I have seen before. This is Dracula 3D. So this is Dario Argento's Dracula. I feel like I am the only person on the planet that actually enjoyed this movie, but I watched it for a podcast that we did many years ago now, back when it was relatively new, and I had a really good time with it. Honestly, I don't recall if I watched it in 2D or 3D, but I don't have it in the collection, so I probably streamed it somewhere, so I'm guessing it was just 2D. Not entirely certain, but either way, when I remembered that this movie existed and when I realized there was a 3D Blu-ray of it, I absolutely needed it for the collection. I grabbed this one off of eBay. It was a little bit pricier than I would have expected it to be, but I don't know, it's just one of those films that nobody really likes, so I feel like a lot of people didn't buy, so it's just harder to come by these days. Not terribly expensive, mind you, but maybe somewhere around $15 when a lot of these I was spending 10 or less on. But yeah, this is an interesting film. Like I said, the reviews on this are terrible, but it is just Dario Argento's take on Dracula, so it's going to be filled with blood and, well, you can guess the rest by the cover there, but I really enjoyed it. What's interesting about this one is the fact that, well, one, it is an ex-rental from the place, my previous employer, Family Video, but both the 2D and the 3D are both on the same disc, which you see sometimes, but not terribly often, so I thought that was kind of unique. But anyway, I'll leave it there with this one. This is Dario Argento's Dracula 3D. This next one I bought very recently, but for the life of me, I just can't remember where the heck I found it. Wherever it was very cheap, because otherwise I would have passed on it. But this is Priest on Blu-ray 3D. So I don't know exactly the order of the films, but I know this is related to the movie Legion in some way or another. Maybe it's just a similar cast. I have no idea, but I didn't like Legion. That's the one I've seen out of these two, and I didn't love that one, but for the price and the fact that it was on Blu-ray 3D to add to that collection, that's why I decided to give this one a shot. I do own the DVD. I picked it up at the thrift store last year for dirt cheap, 50 cents. So I figured, you know what? Not that much more. Might as well grab this one on 3D. I'm very intrigued to see how it looks in 3D. There is a pretty cool looking monster back there, so maybe it'll be fun on 3D, even if I don't like the movie all that much. So yeah, interested to check this out. This is Priest. Here's a movie that I actually upgraded because I owned it on 2D Blu-ray. I bought it brand new from Big Lots for like $3 a number of years ago, and I ended up keeping the slipcover, but on the inside is the 3D version of Immortals. So this is another one that I've not heard great things about, but I looked up the reviews on the Blu-ray 3D aspect, and they were actually pretty solid. So because of that, I thought I would upgrade to the 3D format. So again, not one I've watched yet, but looking forward to checking it out in 3D. It's got Superman in there, right? With Henry Cavill. How bad can it be? Well, I guess I'll find out. This is Immortals, and again, in 3D. One of the reasons that collecting Blu-ray 3D is so cool is because of the slipcovers that you get with these sometimes. This lenticular slipcover just looks amazing. I love that. But this is Jurassic World 3D. Now, this is a movie that I know doesn't get a lot of love, but I was actually a big fan of this one. I liked this one a lot, and I loved Fallen Kingdom. I think they set up such a cool premise with Fallen Kingdom, and I couldn't wait to see what Dominion was going to do with it. and then it just dropped the ball entirely. That was such a disappointing film compared to Fallen Kingdom, but I think Jurassic World starts off that new trilogy really well. So while it's not a favorite of everybody's, I really enjoy it, and I cannot wait to see how this one looks in 3D. This is one that I'm sure my daughter will really enjoy once she gets a little bit older. So yeah, very happy to find this one with the slipcover from Disc Replay. This is Jurassic World 3D. I got really lucky with this next one because I had it in my eBay cart for somewhere around $20, $25 because I really wanted to see it. Then I went to Disc Replay and I happened to find it there used, so of course I picked it up. This is Terminator Genisys in 3D. So I've actually only seen the first 2 Terminator films as I sit here right now, which I know I need to correct that, but I think those are generally considered the best of the franchise, but I really enjoy those, so I really want to see the rest of the series. But yeah, eventually I will get to this one, and hopefully I will watch it in the 3D format. Cannot wait to see this one. It looks like a lot of fun, and again, the reviews are pretty good for the 3D on this. So we have Terminator Genisys. Here's another one that has both the 2D and the 3D on the same disc, and frankly, I've seen this one over the years so many times, and I've never bought it until the 3D craze kicked in for me, and that's why I picked it up, because it was cheap at Disc Replay again. We have The Legend of Hercules 3D. I have heard literally nothing about this film over the years. I have no idea what people think about it, but hopefully it'll be pretty decent. It's directed by Renny Harlin, so I'm surprised I haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, this is one where if you guys know anything about this, let me know. Hopefully, again, if the movie's just mediocre, hopefully the 3D will elevate it a little bit here. So this is The Legend of Hercules. I wish I could have found the slipcover on this one because it's also lenticular and just looks awesome. Unfortunately, I grabbed this from Disc Replay and they just didn't have that, but I found Star Trek Beyond 3D. So I do own Star Trek Into Darkness on 3D Blu-ray as well, Blu-ray 3D. I always interchange that, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the original of the remake, whatever this is called, the Kremlin, well, I forget what the trilogy is, but they didn't have that one in Blu-ray 3D. As far as I know, if I'm wrong, let me know, but I've never seen it, so I'm assuming they don't have that. But this one, I was very happy to find because another one that goes for a little bit more money on eBay than it was at Disc Replay. So really cool find. This is Star Trek Beyond. I was really surprised to find out that I didn't already own this one in my collection on just standard Blu-ray or 4K, but I didn't, and I found it in the clearance section at 2nd and Charles. This is Jupiter Ascending, and the cast on this is great with Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum, who I love both of them, but I've not heard a lot of great things about this film. Either way, it's right up my alley for the types of films I normally enjoy, so I will definitely check this out. And this says it's from... I had no idea this was like a Wachowski film. I just noticed down there it says from the creators of the Matrix trilogy. I did not realize that this was directed by them. That's awesome. So now I'm even more excited about this one. Very cool find, especially for like, I think it was like $5, $4 or $5 in the clearance bin at 2nd and Charles. So very cool find. Jupiter Ascending. I'll show both of these together because they're part of the same franchise. I need one more in this trilogy, but I found The Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies in 3D, along with the better one here, just because it has the lenticular, The Unexpected Journey. So you guys know if you follow the channel, I have not watched through the Hobbit films yet because I have yet to see through the Lord of the Rings films, but as I sit here, Lord of the Rings, the original one, is on my most embarrassing blind spots, and I only have 3 more to watch from that series of movies. So definitely will be watching that one in the coming weeks, but either way, had to grab these. I think this lenticular looks awesome again, and why not, right? Why not grab these? So what's really cool about this, or interesting about this, I guess, is the fact that if you open this up, you can see the 3D disc has a part 1 and a part 2. So I guess it's just like too big, or they wanted to keep the quality as best they could, so they split it onto 2 discs. So that's interesting. I don't think any of my other 3Ds have that, so I thought that was cool. Well, frankly, Hobbit might, and now I'm interested to find out if it does. Let me see. Yep, that one does too. Unexpected Journey as well. So interesting that that's the case. But yeah, one thing I would love to see, because I know... Was it this one, the original? I know this was released in theaters at like, what, 48 frames per second or something? I would love to see that version of the film, but I don't believe you can see that in any format, as far as I know. I feel like the Blu-ray 3D would really benefit from the higher frame rate, whereas the 2D might look a little weird, like most people I feel like thought when they saw it in theaters. But I would love to see that. If you guys know how to watch it in that frame rate that it was released in theatrically, please let me know. But I don't think you can on home media. But either way, I grabbed both of these with again, the great slipcover there, even though it is a little beat up, as you can see, plus Battle of Five Armies. Last but not least today is actually a Prime Day pickup, which is ridiculous. I have no idea why this went on sale. Another one I had in my eBay cart for somewhere around $25, maybe even $30, and I was just hoping to find it cheaper. Fortunately, I found it brand new, much cheaper. We have Dune Part 1 in 3D. I heard awesome things about this release when it first came out, but it hit when it hit stores, it was basically non-existent in like Best Buys and Walmarts and things. So I never came across it. And frankly, at that point, I wasn't back into the 3D craze like I am right now. So that's why I just went with the 4K version of it. But I love now that I have the 4K of this and the Blu-ray 3D. I'm very intrigued to see how this one is going to look in 3D. But love these films. Specifically, I like the second one more than the first one, but I still really enjoyed this. So very happy I was able to find this one brand new from Amazon on a Prime Day deal. Very cheap. I want to say it was around $12, somewhere around there. So a very good price on this compared to eBay. This is the last one for this video, Dune Part 1 in 3D. All right, I hope you guys didn't take a shot every time I said 3D in this video, because you would be drunk right now. But yeah, that was a stack of movies that I am so excited to get into at some point here. Some of these I know my daughter will really enjoy, maybe a little bit less from this stack, but definitely more in the next pile I have for you guys, because yes, I have one more pile with right around a dozen more movies at this point. So I decided just to break them up into two different videos. So very excited to share that with you guys as well. But this is a fun thing to collect at this point because they're not super readily available, so it does take a little bit of hunting. Obviously, eBay has them, but you are going to pay up a little bit, so that's why I like hitting my local disc replays or getting lucky on Amazon, which is so weird. But yeah, either way, very happy with this haul. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you still watching or collecting 3D Blu-ray? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the format and anything else down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for leaving any and all thoughts down there. I really do appreciate it. With that said, guys, before you go, if you could just hit that like button, that engagement really does help me out. And thank you guys so much for making it to the end here. I really do appreciate you. Before you go, I will just encourage you all to consume some media today, preferably some 3D media. I will catch you all next time.